Pse ke ardhur këtu sot?
Unë kam marrë se presë vllajnë të vijë nga Anglia.
Ke puna, edhe nëse do shkoj në rrogat shumë më të mëdha, edhe nëse dy fishohen rrogat, nuk është se do të ndaloje kjo puna e ikjes, ato prap do të ikin.
Po pse Angli? Ka edhe vende të tjera ku mund të bësh
Sepse atje është për hap, domethënë, është epiqendra, si ti thush, e këtyre drogës, po.
Po që do e provoj prap. Deri në momentin që më do kaloj do t'i provoj të gjitha, nuk do e lej.
In 2022, around 16,000 Albanian citizens applied for asylum in the UK, making up 16% of all asylum applicants. More than 12,000 Albanians arrived in the UK by small boat crossings.
The British people deserve to know which party is serious about stopping the invasion on our southern coast and which party is not. Some 40,000 people have arrived on the south coast this year alone. Many of them facilitated by criminal gangs, some of them actual members of criminal gangs. So let's stop pretending that they are all refugees in distress.
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm a British-born Albanian living in the UK. In 2022, there were loads of stories about people from Albania coming here on small boats. There were questions being asked about why people from a country considered safe would come here. I'm going to find out more by firstly speaking to the Albanian community in the UK, as well as traveling to Albania to understand why people would leave. I'm starting here at my family home to show you how connected we are to Albania.
My brother and I grew up close to our Albanian family, where we learned the language. We visit Albania every year, and we watch Albanian TV at home. So it's safe to say we have a strong Albanian identity, and we're proud of it. I caught up with my brother at our local park in London to talk about growing up Albanian in the UK.
Obviously, we've had like two identities almost, the British one and the Albanian one. Like, how was it growing up Albanian over here?
I would say sometimes you might get a little comment about being Albanian.
Even like the perceptions, do you think it's negative? Like,
I feel like for the younger generation it is. When you talk about Albanians, they're like, oh, they're criminals, they're gangsters.
we went to a protest.
Yeah, we did, the one in central London.
Yeah.
The main point of it was actually pretty good, what we were trying to show, or trying to prove, I guess. I feel like Albanians that come from Albania to here, they come here and they get stuck, or they go down the wrong path, and then they just either get deported or get put in prison, so they just wasted potential for no reason.
Independence Day rallies and protests have brought the Albanian community together. The 2022 protest was organized by Enkelade Omi and his brother. I met with Enkelade to talk about perceptions at the time.
We're outside Westminster where you and a group of other people held a protest in November 2022. Could you tell me why you did it?
The protest has been done by all Albanian community here. It has been done against the remarks from Suela Braverman make against us, against all Albanians, calling them criminals and invaders.
The invasion on our southern coast and which party is not.
I was also at the protest. It really did feel very unique as well because it was really the first time that the Albanian community in the UK really came together. How was the atmosphere, do you think, that day?
The atmosphere was great, really, and we did not accept so many people coming there. We had about 50 stewards trying to keep protest everything peacefully.
How do you think the media reacted after the protest?
It reacted very bad. Some media, not every media, hasn't been very protective to Albanian community. Not only newspapers, small articles, Twitter. I know how many media has written against me and my brother, because on the articles mentioned me and my brother as human traffickers. But I am here. If I am a human trafficker, or if I am head of traffickers, I might not be here today with you. For me, United Kingdom is a great country, great democracy.
Is it worth risking your life to come to the UK?
That's a $1 million question.
I'm a lecturer in law at University College London, and most of my research is based on rule of law,
corruption, migration and the Western Balkans.
You've devoted a lot of research to studying migration from Albania. Can you tell me a little bit more about the driving factors?
Since the collapse of communism, we have had a number of waves of migration. Albania was close to the rest of the world for 50 years, and we were one of the most brutal dictatorship in Europe. So if we compare it to now, it's very much like North Korea. And when we had the collapse of communism, many Albanians left, and we are still living some of those repercussions. From 2000 to now, more or less every year on average, 45,000 Albanians leave the country. And at the moment we have about over 40% of Albanians living abroad.
In 2022, there were reports published that 12 to 13,000 Albanians were coming to the UK through illegal means. Why is that?
The main factors that the research shows, corruption, especially petty corruption, it's quite a bit widespread in Albania. Access to healthcare, quality education, economic opportunities. And Albania had the earthquake where 15 municipalities were hit and thousands of people were left without a home. And what the COVID crisis did, together with inflation, has increased the poverty line.
In 2023, there was a big decrease in Albanian arrivals. 2,000 people came to the UK in the year ending September 2023, compared to 12,000 arrivals in the year ending September 2022. Despite the reduction in arrivals, the National Crime Agency and policing authorities are continuing to make arrests for drug crimes linked to illegal migration. According to information obtained by a Freedom of Information request to Met Police in London, Albania is the third most common nationality, excluding the UK, with charged offences since 2020. It also showed that drug-related crime was the most prevalent, behind non-notifiable offences. There are stories of people who come to the UK because of the life that is seen on social media, and organised criminal gangs use this to traffic young men to work in cannabis farms.
Smashing the criminal gangs means greater cooperation with our European neighbours. It means making sure that our intelligence services are playing a role in addressing this, because the key element of this border security command is using what we've got, but also bringing in expertise. The system has to work in a way which uses all the information that is potentially at our disposal to address the root cause of this. People who want a better life, whose fears of the future are being exploited by criminal gangs for their own profit. And there is thousands and millions of euros that are being made by these people.
Police say they are taking a proactive approach. A spokesperson for the National Police Chiefs Council said, during one operation last year, police seized and destroyed cannabis worth between 115 and 130 million pounds and made over 1,000 arrests. But of course, this is the minority of Albanians who come to live in the UK. I went to meet TikToker Arild to talk about the way social media can influence people.
I started to, make some sketches about, what Albanians do, and like the culture.
Obviously, platforms like TikTok have also been quite popular for young Albanians in Albania to migrate over here.
They come just because they see the lifestyle of TikTok. They see the nice car, the nice clothes.
How influential is the music industry? So a lot of the music that is out there that features a lot of Albanian artists, they do often talk about drugs, and crime, and glorify it in a way. You think it's right?
I don't think it's right. That's why I don't do this type of music. To be honest, I was shocked when I first came here. I was expecting London to be like totally different.
You grew up in Italy. Do you think that being Albanian in Italy is different from being Albanian over here?
We were very discriminated. I was kind of like scared to say, oh, I'm from Albania. But I think recently, thank God, things started to change as well. Being Albanian, all of a sudden started to be a cool thing to have. But this is like a picture of me and my cousins when we was in Albania back to my aunt's house. And then there's that same picture with like all the flags, everyone emigrated.
When I used to go to Albania, we had a friendship group.
Yeah.
And now all of them are like, some of them are in the United States.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Maybe one day they will come back.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, me and you are coming back, so it's fine.
Zot e leunën e lo. Ti që nëna. Kush jeni nënës tu?
Unë? Cili vit fillon kjo?
Kjo fillon që në viti 70, një 70, në 71. Kam qenë edhe korespondenti televizionit unë, tu, në Fierë, që qenë ju këtu të shikje për bëni tu. Këto i kam bërë, gjyshi ka bërë më përpara. Sistemi komunist, që u prish, nuk prishi vetëm, si thaj, organizimin e njeriut, si që është për shumë të organizohet edhe tjeti lirë, të kryojnë partije, të kryojnë, po a i sistem pastaj nga padituria, nga nuk e di, prishit gjithë sistemi, prishit gjithë të uzina, fabrika, sepse letishte do të kthesh ajo, të prishit sistemi komunist. Edhe kjo pastaj beri që edhe ne, për shumë unë që kisha një jetë të tërë që punoja me këto, për shumë u detyrova pastaj të emigroja edhe unë. Imagjinoti në moshën 47 vjeç. Nëna, gruaja, edhe fëmijët s'kishin asnjë mbështetje pastaj, sepse unë isha që punoja. Kam kaluar më thënë me sakrificat të mëdha nëpër pyll, nëpër male, nëpër marashu, që më rritëm atje në Greqi.
Gjatë komunizmit, si ka qenë Shqipëria?
Nuk mendojmë, ne në atë kohë, jo, po sot, po në atë kohë nuk mendojmë që sistemi komunist nuk do jetë i mirë, nuk do të arrijë ato që jetë qëllimi, sepse neve ne ishim të brëmusur me atë ide, me ato koncepte, me ato frym.
Po Shqipëria sot si është?
Mi po, tash sot, Shqipëria, sot ka ndryshuar. Për shembull, që paga minimale 180.000 lekë. Dhe më Rama, që Partia Socialiste që ka marrë që 2013, arriti që ta çoj 400.000 lekë. Kurse ai tjetri, e çoj 900 euro, do t'ja çoj punëtorëve të tjerë, specialistëve. Po su rrit që paga që të vej në nivelin e Bashkimit Evropian, nuk të fut njeri. Edhe kur të fusin atë, kur të bëhet kjo kështu, nuk do vesh me jashtë.
Many believe a solution to immigration is joining the European Union. Albania started negotiations with the European Commission in 2022, but to join the EU, they need more stable political systems, they need to fight corruption, organized crime, and money laundering, as well as respecting human and minority rights. I spoke to Yorida Tabaku, who is part of the Council of Europe and the Democratic Party.
In Albania, there seems to be that there isn't really a welfare system in a sense. I know that my parents and a lot of other people as well that live abroad, they often send money back because they always have someone that lives over here. In my case, my grandparents. Is this a contributing factor for why Albanians are leaving Albania?
If you see the areas where Albanians are living most in the north, those are poor areas. Those are areas that do not have investments, Kukos, Tropoja, Dibra, in terms of education, social care, and so on. As we speak, Albania has the smallest bill on social support. The poverty is 23%. It's the highest in the Western Balkans.
Politicians have been arrested as part of an initiative to address corruption in politics. But there is still much to do to build the trust of people in Albania, to have faith in the people who represent them.
Corruption has been a factor that has influenced political life in Albania for the last 30 years. I believe that now we are in a phase where people are understanding that they should fear the law, that they should fear the system.
I'm here in Rinas, where a plane has just landed, which has brought back illegal immigrants from the UK back to Albania. This happens once a week, with many of their families greeting them back to the country in the police station just behind me. After speaking to a lot of people over here whose family relatives are being deported back from the UK, they told us about how a lot of their relatives were involved in cannabis farms, in construction, and there does seem to be an emotional place because they are being reunited after so long. Se ke ardhur këtu sot?
Unë kam ardhur se presë vllajnë të vijë nga Anglia. Ka ardhur me më umbe.
Sa ka pagu?
15.000 pound, ka ardhur fjala për një jetë më të mirë dhe për më mirë. Kapën se ishte I paligjshëm, s'kishte dokumentacionin në rregull për punon.
E di çfarë pune bënte në Angli?
Ndërtim, po. Krasisht 3 vjet ka dhe fëmijët këtej, ai nuk është se por zorja ç'as bën më u largu.
Eraldo is an investigative journalist in Albania. He's travelled with migrants on their journey to the UK to better understand their experience and their motivations.
Ka zgjatur rreth një javë. Jam nisur nga Tirana, kam marrë autobusin, kam shkuar në Belgjik, në Bruxelles. Kemi qenë në Bruxelles për 2 ditë, më pas kemi shkuar në Dunkirk, edhe në Calais. Madje kam fjetur një natë në kampin kryesor, shumë rrezikshme, si isha edhe me infiltruar, isha me kamerat e fsheta. Ishte shumë e vështirë, ishte një situatë në kufit e mbijetesës, sepse kushtet higjieno-sanitare ishin të tmerrshme, nuk kishte ushqime.
Ke biseduar me njerëz ku vajten në Dunkirk edhe çfarë thoshin?
Kam biseduar me shumë shqiptarë, më ka bërë përshtypje një mësues nga Puka, edhe ai kishte braktisur profesionin e mësuesit, një profesion I nderuar si rregull, ishte mësues historie, kishte lënë 2 fëmijët e tij, vajzën e vogël e kishte 6 muajshe, edhe kishte emigruar sepse nuk e përballonte edhe mësuesi, dhe shkonte në shtëpi bare. Në periudhë bëhej shumë e thjeshtë, në rrjetet sociale shitej sigurisht një rrugë kalimi shumë e sigurt, nuk do kishin probleme. Kanë filluar madje të marrin edhe jahte për shkuar nga Spanja në Angli apo nga vendet skandinave në Angli. Ish pagesa është më e madhe, mund shkojë deri në 20.000 pound.
I'm here outside Elbasan where I'll be meeting a young 24-year-old man who chooses to remain anonymous because of his criminal activities in the UK.
In 2021, he made the journey to Kent on a small boat. He was put in a hotel by the government when he escaped.
Dua të filloj pak me si shkove në Angli përpara. Do më thosh pak historinë tënde si ke shkuar?
Nga Shqipëria pastaj kam shku me autobus kam shku në Belgjik. Në Belgjik kam nejt gati 45 ditë. Në Gomone kemi qenë gati ke 66 veta. Edhe 50 pothuajse ishin shqiptarë, tjerët ishin tuaj. Vështirë ishte se kam bërë gati 16 orë në Gomone. Do më thanë, në moment që sa jemi nis, kemi bërë 3-4 kilometra më në ujë. Aty pastaj na janë fik motorat e, do më thanë, nuk e di çfarë problemi kishin, po thjesht na fikën, kemi nejt gati 1 orë gjysmë aty dhe pastaj jemi nis prap, do më thanë deti shumë dallë, ku ujë më në Gomone, fëmijë të vegjël, familjar, po kishte edhe fëmijë, kishim 3 fëmijë nga 6 muaj ishin ato.
Ja vlen ta rrezikosh jetën
Jo,
tënde?
nuk ja vlen. Normal që s'ja vlen. Më ka ofruar për shembull një shumë konsiderueshme për të shkuar atje, ishte 4.500 pound, s'ka të ardhur ato. Do më thanë në Angli kam shku me një qëllim për shembull për të bërë lek. Arsyeja që ishte, do më thanë, ishte një arsye për më u fut në shtëpi bare, u futa, do më thanë për një arsye. Njoft njerëz që janë atje akoma.
Po pse Angli? Ka edhe vende të tjera ku mund të bësh.
Sepse atje është përhap, do më thanë, është epiqendra, si ti thush, e këtyre drogës, për më bëj shtëpia bare, me se ke më të lirë, si nga shteti, nga të gjitha.
I went to see what the current government is doing to address organised crime, corruption, and how they are dealing with mass migration.
What Albania and UK have shown is that the best way is to cooperate. You can pass the channel. You arrive there Sunday, but on Thursday afternoon, you'll be back to Tirana again.
The opposition, some members of it, say that you are in fact not fighting organised crime and not investing in areas where a lot of migrants have left, specifically in the north.
Important persons of the organized crime have been arrested, not only in Albania, but elsewhere in the world. There has been fight against fake documents, drug dealers. When it comes from the government, everything has been done. The diaspora of Kukos have to think, coming back and transforming their houses into agro-tourist destinations.
A lot of the reasons why Albanians are leaving, especially the youth, is because of unemployment, poverty, and also the lack of welfare system over here in Albania.
I still stick on the fact that the cost of life in Albania is much more low.
Why do 40,000 people leave every single year over here?
I'm 100% convinced that those who wanted to leave have already left. And fight against illegal migration is one of the biggest challenges of this century.
The government says that they've done all they can to invest in the north, so I travelled to North Albania to find out what it's really like to live there.
I've travelled to Kux and its surrounding villages. It's known for its beautiful scenery and mass migration. I'll be finding out more as to why young people would want to leave this place.
I met with Dennis, a photographer who grew up in Kux.
Çfarë vështirësi mund të them ka në Kux për njerëz që banojnë këtu?
Është ekonomia, pa diskutim ekonomia.
Si më ndonë?
Shiko, ëndra çdo 3 orë është më largu. Nuk shef jetë to. Nuk shoh asnjë prej atyne që unë kam posë në shkollë, asnjë. Domethënë është mundësi, domethënë edhe për zhvillim, ka mundësi turizëm, gjithçka domethënë. Njëri siç jetë që rrin në Angli, vendos kthehesh këtu dhe të investosh këtu, ti nuk ke problemin e parë kemi hos me punëtor. Problemi është që punëtorët gjithmonë kanë qenë i shkelem këtu. I shkelem do të thotë që ka qenë nuk ka pas drejta. Rrogat kanë qenë ekstremisht të vogla. Rritet çmimi i shtëpiave, çmimi ushqimeve etj.
Dua të di, ke familjar njerëz jashtë në imigrim?
Po, kam vllajën. Ka dy vite që është në Angli, në Londër.
Dennis studied photography with the help of charity New Perspectives. He then applied for a grant to get the equipment he needed, and now he owns his own business. The charity is funded by the UK government and is working to raise awareness by helping young people build careers and opportunities in Albania. They have so far worked with 2,000 people.
Total funding of the project is about 10.2 million British pounds. It is being implemented in the 4 northeasternmost municipalities of Albania. A significant number of irregular migrants from Albania to the UK come from these areas, approximately 40% based on our estimates. Unfortunately, these areas are the poorest areas of Albania, so not a lot of opportunities by themselves. They are also secluded in terms of infrastructure.
The government in Albania is clear that tourism will help the city of Kux. Fatmir set up a restaurant with this in mind too, though is not without its difficulties. He travelled to the UK illegally because a lot of his family lives there, and they still do, but he came back to set up this business with his parents.
Kam qenë në Angli pothuajse për 6 vite.
Po rrotimi jot në Angli si vajti si shkoi?
Nga Franca me kamion si gjithë. Kemi kalu nga Kalajs në kamion tek trenat transportues të kamionave. Se nuk është që kemi pas në udhëzues apo se në një që bën atë punë të mirë. Vetëm tek me menu me menjen tonë edhe me pa momentin e dur që kur më ik edhe policisë edhe mos me rreziku me thyrë në kamën e me rreziku edhe jetën në Shqip.
I ke prapë në Angli herën e dytë, në çfarë viti?
Në brenda 2018 s'ka qenë. Me kartën nga Portokalia në Irlandë, pastaj nga Irlanda në Dublin, nga Dublini në Bristol. Tash unë që kam dalë edhe jam kthy shumë trive tjerë them që mos ikni se ka mundësi, tash ka mundësi edhe Shqipëria.
Si është biznesi?
Kemi nevojë akoma për punëtorë tjerë, është pak vështirë tash për gjetë punëtorë. Kjo ikja nuk është që do të ndaloj, ke që shke puna, edhe nëse do shkoj në rrogat shumë më të mëdha, nëse dyfishohen rrogat, nuk është që do të ndaloj kjo puna e ikjes, ato prap do të ikin.
Despite people coming back to Albania and many wanting to invest, there are still people who want to live and work in the UK. George wants to reunite with his family in Britain. He's tried 10 times and spent tens of thousands of pounds, but won't stop until he's finally made it.
Nëse arrije që të futesh në kamion dhe kamioni kalon te doganën e portit, deri diku ishte thuajse 100% i kaluar sepse kamioni do hyte në traget, por që kjo nuk funksionoi. Kam provuar të kaloj me dokument falso, edhe këta kam provuar shumë. Nëse do kaloje, do hypi avionit edhe do kaloje si çdo turist tjetër.
Sa herë ke provuar këtë?
Diku te 10 herë kam provuar vetëm me dokument falso.
10 herë?
Në momentin që futesh në aeroport, normalisht je i stresuar që nga moment do kapesh, do dyshojnë te ti edhe do përfundosh në burg. Unë shpenzova goxha shumë. Gjitha kursimet e mia, gjitha ato
para që kisha mbledhur nga puna, që po ti përllogaris, deri diku mund të jenë diku te mbi 20.000 euro. Vetëm hotele edhe bileta.
Ti ke ndërmend të shkosh prapë të provosh edhe një herë?
Po që do e provoj prapë, deri në momentin që më do kaloj do t'i provoj të gjitha, nuk do e lej.
Back in the UK, after learning from my experiences in Albania, I wanted to know what the UK government plans to do to reduce illegal methods of coming here.
It's very clear that there are still people seeking to come here from Albania, and we know that Albania is a safe country and that our government and the Albanian government have worked very hard to tackle the problem. Here in the UK, unless they have come on a visa, there are no legal routes for them to work in the UK. Some of our previous immigration bills, particularly the one that brought in a points-based system, has not achieved what the proponents of it thought it would. I'm not convinced that we've got it right yet, but there is no magic wand that you can wave to solve the vexed global problem of immigration.
The numbers have increased and people arrive all across this coastline. You know, I've seen, as many people here in Folkestone, have seen people arriving on small boats and seen, you know, the fear and the real kind of human aspect of it. Asylum seekers being housed in these quite inhumane conditions, frankly. We have the Bivvy Stockholm barge, which is now closed. We've got Napier Barracks here, about which there have been many court cases about the conditions that people are held in there. Albania aspires to be a member of the European Union, and part of that is ensuring that human rights and basic protections are inherent in their own state. You know, there is obviously work to do in making sure that those who have got a fear of the Albanian state, their claims are addressed properly, and that is what the asylum system is for. While at the same time recognising that there are some people who come from Albania who do not have a legitimate claim. There are legal routes to come if you're from Albania. Whether you qualify is another question. There has to be control, otherwise democracy breaks down.
I thought I knew the situation actually, but I feel like I relearned everything that I previously knew. I didn't actually know that there were so many Albanians that wanted to come over here, especially young people. There's a lot of attempts to fight corruption, almost giving hope to some Albanians. When I go to Albania, I feel at home.
Would you want to move there?
I think definitely I would move there at some point. I think it's inevitable. We'll have to see. I feel like it's a question that, because you never know in life, but that I will return one day is definite.